Hi, and welcome to the Mr. America podcast. I'm Miss Liberty, and this is Mr. America.
We have an amazing show for you today, a documentary on Trump by Forgotten History. This is a must-see, as it really puts into perspective what a great president Trump actually was.
Donald John Trump was born on June 14, 1946 in Queens, New York. His father was Fred Trump, born in 1905 to German immigrant parents. His mother was born in Scotland in 1912 and immigrated to the U.S. in 1930, becoming a naturalized citizen in 1942. She and Fred had 5 children: Fred Trump Jr., who died in 1981, Mary Ann and Elizabeth, and younger brother Robert. Donald Trump received a Bachelor of Science degree in economics from the University of Pennsylvania in 1968, following which his father named him president of his real estate business in 1971.
I don't think Trump was given a fair shot by any means. The fact that he has been able to stand up against it all says so much about his character.
Trump never appeared to have any serious interest in national politics and was a registered Democrat and Republican at various times. But his focus was on his own businesses in construction and renovation of skyscrapers, public buildings, hotels, casinos, and golf courses worldwide. But in 2000, Trump ran for the presidential nomination as the Reform Party candidate in the California and Michigan primaries against Republican nominee George W. Bush and the likely Democrat nominee Al Gore. But he withdrew from the race in February of 2000. In February 2011, Trump suggested that he would challenge President Barack Obama in the 2012 general election during his appearance at the Conservative Political Action Conference, or CPAC, giving speeches in early primary states. The media did not take him seriously, and in May 2011, he announced he would not run, and instead he endorsed Mitt Romney in February of 2012. In June 2015, Trump again announced his candidacy for president against the Democrat frontrunner Hillary Clinton. Once again, his campaign run was not taken seriously by the media or political analysts, but he rapidly climbed above the other Republicans in the national opinion polls.
I didn't know he ran in 2000. I do, however, remember him talking about running in 2012, and I thought he would do a really good job. America needed a businessman like him.
His position of being a political outsider, not owing allegiance to the lobbyists, big corporations, and his announcement that he would fund his own campaign without taking major corporate contributions in order to not owe anyone anything struck a chord.
That was the first indicator the establishment was not going to take well to Trump.
Trump outlined all that he saw wrong with the D.C. swamp, to include the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, American businesses going overseas to avoid high tax rates and operating costs, and the promises of bringing corporations and jobs back to the United States resonated with the population. Many blue-collar workers whose livelihoods had been crippled as a result of offshoring their jobs, and Trump pointed out the high cost and financially devastating impact of the Affordable Care Act upon individuals and businesses.
He really did think a lot about what America needed to be great again.
Trump also campaigned on rebuilding the military, stopping taxpayer funding for programs that harmed the economy, ending the war on terror, securing the southern border, enforcing immigration laws, rebuilding the military structure in total, and protecting coal, oil, and natural gas jobs. And that saw him become the frontrunner in March 2016. The media had been very friendly to Trump over the decades until his announcement that he would run as a Republican in the 2016 presidential election. After that, they always tried to portray Trump as a business failure, racist, and misogynist. Yet, despite these setbacks, the majority of his businesses continued to thrive in varying degrees, depending upon the national and global economics. Trump also pointed out the fact that NATO was being paid for by the American taxpayer. For decades, NATO countries had failed to pay their 2% GDP dues, yet still expected U.S. protection, and he said that NATO was obsolete.
I remember the media going haywire over this, but Trump was absolutely correct.
He stated that he wanted to address the U.S.-China relationship and strike down the free trade agreements such as NAFTA and the Trans-Pacific Partnership. and get the U.S. out of the Iran nuclear deal, Clean Power Plan, and the Paris Climate Accords, also called the Paris Agreement, which did not pertain to China and India, but was targeting Western Europe and the USA.
Can you just imagine if he had been allowed to win a second term back-to-back? A president can always achieve more in 2 terms.
This is why we had a strong economy, low gas prices, and a safe world.
Trump campaigned on modernizing and expediting services for veterans, repealing and replacing the Affordable Care Act, abolishing the Common Core education programs, investing in infrastructure, simplifying the tax code while reducing taxes for all economic classes, and imposing tariffs on imports by companies that offshore jobs. Many of those jobs came back.
It's hard to understand why there are Americans who literally hate him. Stay tuned for part 2. Be sure to like and subscribe.